Hey everybody, today we have a 30-minute Pilates workout and we're focusing on your glutes, legs and core. And we're also using the Small Pilates Ball, which I have to say is one of my favorite pieces of Pilates equipment. All right, let's get started. So we're going to start with a hamstring stretch. Just remember when you're stretching, it's a nice gentle stretch. You should never force the muscle. So just make sure your T-zone's tight. You're in a neutral spine, shoulders back and down. The one leg goes up and you're pulling it gently towards you. You can hold on the back of the calf, the back of the thigh. If you do want to make it harder, you can also extend the bottom leg out along the ground. Okay, swapping legs. So T-zone tight, shoulders back and down, chin tucked in, keeping those hips square. Try to keep your glutes on the ground. And again, you can extend that bottom leg out to make it a little harder. Okay, onto the glute stretch. So crossing that top ankle over the bottom thigh. Now that might be enough of a stretch. You can push the knee away from you. Else thread your hands through, grab the thigh and draw the legs towards you, stretching out your glutes. So just remember to keep that T-zone tight, shoulders back and down, and try to keep your hips nice and square and again on the ground so you're getting a nice stretch through the glutes. Excellent. Swapping legs. Now, if you don't know what I mean by your T-zone, please refer to my Pilates Basics video linked below. And like I always remind you, there should be no pain through your back, neck, hips, or any joints. Really focus on the muscles that we are meant to be working or stretching in the exercise. All right, let's get started with our first Pilates ball exercise. So you're going to lay on your back in a neutral spine with your T-zone tight, one foot placed on the ball. Exhale as you roll the ball out, inhale as you roll it back in. Now keep your T-zone tight, ribs to hips, and we're just warming up the core. So when the leg slides out, you don't want to let your back arch or the hips rock. You want to keep everything nice and still using your core muscles. So remember your shoulders relaxed, back and down, chins tucked in. Nice. And exhale as you roll the ball out, inhale as you roll it back in. So we're just doing a few of these to activate your core, get you ready for today's workout. So to make this harder, you can roll the ball further, and to make it easier, you obviously don't roll the ball as far. Excellent work. Only one to go. Fabulous. All right, let's swap sides. So the other foot on the ball. Exhale as you roll the ball away. Inhale as you roll it back in. Excellent. Just keeping that T-zone tight. Again, just warming up the core. This is a nice gentle exercise, but just to connect you to your core muscles. So you want these firing throughout the workout today. Nice work. Keep breathing. Exhale as you roll the ball out and inhale as you roll it back in. That's it. Keeping the shoulders relaxed, neutral spine, T-zone tight. Awesome work. All right, now we're going on to a double leg slide. So both feet on the ball. Now you really want to activate your T-zone tight, keeping those ribs to hips so you're not arching through your lower back. So really hollow out the belly, keep everything tight. Now obviously to make it easier, you don't roll the ball out as far. To make it harder, roll out the ball further. Just remember, only go as far as you can without arching the back. You want to keep that neutral spine, ribs to hips, shoulders relaxed. That's it. So exhale to roll the ball out, inhale to draw it back in. Again, keeping those ribs to hips, keep that connection so you're not arching through the lower back as your feet roll out. Nice work. Exhale to roll out, inhale to roll it back in. Remember, you can reset your feet at any time. I know I often have to. Nice. You should really start to feel the core fire. Keep hollowing it out. Just check your knees are facing towards the ceiling or the sky. Make sure they're not rolling out or rolling in. And again, keep your shoulders relaxed and smile. Beautiful work. Okay, on to the next exercise, which is single leg circle. This works your abdominal muscles and inner thigh. So keep the one foot on the ball, knee bent, and extend the other leg up towards the sky. Turn your foot out away from you. and point your toes. So now we're going to exhale, lower the leg down towards the ground through the center. Inhale, circle the leg out and around back to the starting position. Excellent. So keep that going. Exhale through the middle. Inhale to circle it out. If you want to make it harder, you can make the circles bigger, or you can even extend that bottom leg out so the ankle is on the ball. And to make it easier, obviously make the circles smaller. Awesome work. So really keep that T-zone tight, ribs to hips. So remember, you don't want your hips rocking, your back arching. Awesome work. Okay, swap sides. So you're going to do the same as what you did on the other side, either your foot on the ball or ankle on the ball. Exhale to lower the leg through the center. Inhale to circle it back and around. Just remember the foot is turned out from the hips. That's it. So you're almost turning your inner thigh towards you. Nearly there. Now I just want to say, if you do have tight hammies, this can be quite challenging. Just stay with the bottom leg being bent. Otherwise, remember, you can always skip the exercise if it doesn't work for you. Okay, next is inner thigh squeeze, and this works your inner thighs. So just laying on your back in a neutral spine, pop the ball between the thighs just above the knees. T-zone tight, and what we're going to do is just draw the knees together, squeezing on the ball, working your inner thighs. That's it. So exhale to squeeze on the ball, inhale to slowly release. If you want to make it harder, you squeeze harder on the ball. You can also hold the squeeze for longer. And then when you're releasing, don't release it as much. So don't fully release the pressure on the ball. To make it easier, fully release the ball and you can reset every time. Nice work. You should start to feel those inner thighs working. Okay, keep your feet and ball where they are and interlace your hands behind your head and just gently relax your head into your hands, elbows wide. Inhale, T-zone, and then slightly squeeze on the ball. Exhale, you're going to curl the body up, moving your ribs towards your hips. Now keep that back in neutral. Keep your shoulders back and down, chin tucked in. Exhale to curl the body up, ribs towards your hips. Inhale to come back down. So really try to use your abdominals to come up. Don't pull on your head. Don't use your arms. Don't use momentum. Just control with your abdominals. Nice work. Exhale to curl the body up. Inhale to release slowly back down. That's it. To make it harder, you can curl the body up higher. Trying to curl up as high as you can, really scooping out the abdominals. To make it harder, you can also squeeze harder on the ball. Excellent work. Keep it going. So as you probably are aware, it's important to put the ball in the right position, just in between the inner thighs above the knee so it doesn't pop out. All right, on to the next exercise. We are going into oblique curls. So keep the ball, the legs and the arms where they are. And now we're just crossing across the body using the obliques more. So the right rib cage will draw towards the left hip bone and then you come back down. And then you draw the left rib cage to the right hip bone and you come back down. And it's the same. Exhale as you curl the body up. Inhale as you come back down. That's it. Really trying to curl the body up, scooping out the belly, trying to get those shoulder blades off the ground. Remember not to use your arms, use your abdominals. Keep the elbows wide, keep the shoulders back and down, and then chin tucked in. Really try to control the movement so you're not using momentum, but you're really engaging the abdominals. That's it. Keep it going. Okay, next we're doing pendulum with the Pilates ball in between the thigh. So we have our legs in tabletop, so we need an imprinted spine. Squeeze on the ball slightly. Inhale, we're going to slowly lower the legs over to the side, rotating the spine. One hip lifts off the floor slightly. And then exhale, we're going to draw the legs back to center. Now it's really important to have your T-zone tight and your ribs to hips. Only go as far over as you can without that shoulder lifting or your back arching. So inhale, slowly lower the legs over to the side. Exhale, draw the legs back to center. Squeezing on the ball slightly could really keep your ribs to hips so you're not arching through your back. If you want to make it harder, you can squeeze on the ball harder or lower the legs further over to the side, or to make it easier, don't go over as far and don't squeeze on the ball as much. So really focus on using your abdominals to make this movement happen. So use your abdominals to pull the knees back to center and lower the legs out to the side. Nice work. Okay, next we're doing abdominal curls. Obviously this works your abdominals, and our legs are in tabletop. So again, imprinted spine, knees sit above the hips, and you're slightly squeezing on the ball. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, curl the body up, shortening your ribs to your hips. Like before, our hands are interlaced at the base of your head, kind of cradling your head. So your head is slightly relaxing into your hands. You're not pulling with your hands. You're not pulling on your neck. If you're finding having your legs in tabletop is getting a bit hard, you can always pop your feet on the ground and continue on with your abdominal curls. No problems. Just focus on keeping your T-zone tight, shoulders back and down, chin tucked in, elbows wide. Keep the knees above the hips, toes pointed, and really trying to hollow out, scoop out the belly as you curl the body up, getting the ribs to hips. That's it, trying to get those shoulder blades off the ground, really working those abdominals now. Nice work. Okay, they are done. Okay, we're going to go back to your inner thigh squeeze, but this time your legs are going to be in tabletop. So your spine is imprinted, T-zone tight, and we're just going to squeeze on the ball, drawing your knees together. That's it, keep that going. So working the inner thighs, working the core. Exhale to squeeze on the ball, inhale to release. Keep your shoulders relaxed, chin tucked in. Keep scooping out your belly. Nice work, keep this going. Again, to make this harder, you can squeeze on the ball a little more. To make it easier, don't squeeze as much. And obviously you can take the rest like always, whenever you need. Okay, time for some glute work. So your feet are on the ground, so now we're in a neutral spine. Inhale, T-zone, slightly squeeze on the ball. Exhale, squeeze your glutes, and then slowly tuck your tailbone under and roll your spine up off the mat, one vertebra at a time. You're coming up as high as you can without arching your back. Inhale, roll it back down, one vertebra at a time. Excellent. So really squeeze your glutes, push through the heels, and only come as high as you can without your ribs splaying up. Keep your rib to hip connection so your back's not arching. Beautiful work. Remember to keep your T-zone tight, shoulders back and down, chin tucked in. Nice work. So obviously to make this harder, you can go up higher, but again, as long as you're not arching through your lower back. Nice work. You can obviously squeeze on the ball a little harder to make it a little bit more challenging. Nice. To make it easier, you don't have to go up as high or squeeze on the ball as much. Nice work. So this is obviously working your glutes and your inner thighs. And obviously your core should be firing the whole time. Nice work. Keep that going. Okay, you're doing amazing. The next time we get to the top, we're going to hold this position. We're going to push through the heels and then exhale, squeeze on the ball, drawing the knees closer together, working those inner thighs. Inhale, slightly release. Exhale, squeeze on the ball. Inhale, slightly release. That's it. Keep it going. So keep pushing your hips up with your glutes, squeezing with your inner thighs. Keep your ribs to hips so you're not arching through your lower back. Nice. Keep breathing. Exhale to squeeze on the ball. Inhale to slightly release. If you want to make it harder, obviously you can squeeze on the ball a little bit more. To make it easier, you can release the ball more in between and don't squeeze on the ball as hard. You're doing amazing. We have 3 more. So 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Roll it back down, 1 vertebra at a time. Okay, now we're going into side lying exercises. We're still working the glutes. So you want to pop the ball behind the knee and then lay your hand, shoulder, hips, and feet on the back of your mat. Knees bent in about 45 degrees. Keep your hips stacked, neutral spine, T-zone tight. Squeeze your glute and then lift that top leg up and then lower it back down. Okay, so it's an exhale to lift the leg and an inhale to lower. Really keep those hips stacked and the spine in neutral. You're not sagging the waist on the floor. Keep the gap between the waist and the floor. Keep your hips stacked and don't let them move. So sometimes it's good to put your hand on your hip, push your hip away, and make sure it's not moving. That's it. Exhale to open without your hips rocking. Inhale to lower. You should really feel this in the glute, just there. That's it. To make it harder, you can lift the leg more, but just again, make sure the hip doesn't rock back. Good. Inhale to lower. Excellent. The next one, keep that leg up in line with the hip. Then you're going to inhale, sweep the leg forward. Exhale, sweep the leg back. Again, keep the hips stacked. Keep the gap between the waist and the floor. Now, as your knee comes forward, inhale, exhale, sweep the leg back. Keep your ribs to hips, especially as the leg goes back. Inhale, knee comes forward. Make sure your butt doesn't tuck under. That's it. Keep going. Inhale, forward. Exhale, sweep the leg back. Nice work. Honestly, how good are these Pilates balls? I mean, I take mine everywhere. If I'm traveling, it's coming with me. It's one of my favorite workouts, these Pilates ball workouts. All right, moving on to your inner leg lift. So keep the gap between the waist and the floor. T-zone tight, hips are stacked. Exhale, you're going to lift the leg up. Inhale, lower it back down. Again, keep your T-zone tight so your hips aren't rocking. Keep your ribs to hips so your back's not arching. And you're going to use your inner thigh to lift the leg, again, without the hips moving. That's it. Exhale to lift. Inhale to control back down. Okay, we're going to keep the leg up at the top half. So you're not going to let it go lower than the bottom half. That's it. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Nice work. Keep that going. Keep the hips stacked. Keep the gap between the waist and the floor. Keep your neutral spine. And as that leg lifts, make sure your hips aren't rocking or lifting. Are your shoulders relaxed back and down? Are you enjoying the workout? I hope you are. Nice work. All right, let's do all of that on the other side. So laying on the other side. Remember, there is a straight line from your hand, shoulder, hips, and feet. Okay, the ball's behind your knee. You're in a neutral spine. Hips are stacked. Have the gap between the waist and the floor. Squeeze your glute. Exhale, lift the knee. Nice work. So make sure that T-zone's tight to keep the hips from rocking. Squeeze your glute to lift the leg without the hips tipping backwards. Nice. Excellent work. So exhale to lift. Inhale to control it back down. Exhale to lift. Inhale to come back down. Nice work. Keep that going. Remember, to make it harder, you can lift the leg higher as long as the hips don't rock back. Nice work. Really squeeze the glute to lift the leg. Keep it in line with the bottom leg. Beautiful. Nice work. All right, into your sweeps. So inhale to sweep the leg forward. Exhale to sweep the leg back. Good. To make it harder, sweep the leg forward and back further, as long as you're not tucking the bum under when the leg comes forward or arching the back when the leg goes back. Remember to keep that leg in line with the hips, no lower. That's it. Really make that glute work. Make the core work, T-zone tight. So good. Keep it going. Amazing work. Okay, last one. Beautiful. Okay, get the ball, pop it under that top knee. Bottom leg is stretched out, toes pointed. Inhale, T-zone. Exhale, you're going to lift that leg. Inhale, lower it back down. You're going to really stretch the leg long, keep the leg straight. Hips are stacked. You can use your top hand to push the top hip away to keep the hips stacked and keep the gap between the waist and the floor. If you need the balance, you can keep the hand in front. Nice. All right, let's go and stay at the top half with that leg. So exhale to lift, inhale to lower. Good, really working the inner thighs. Keep the hips stacked. Try not to let them move. Keep the gap between the waist and the floor. Keep breathing. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower. Shoulders back and down, chin tucked in, neutral spine. Well done. Okay, we're continuing on with the glute work. Next, we're doing donkey kicks. So in your all four position, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, with the ball behind one knee, slightly squeezing on the ball. Bring the other knee slightly into the center, and then the other leg, hover it off the ground, flex the foot back, squeeze your glute, and lift the leg. So we want a neutral spine, so make sure your back isn't arching and you're not sagging through the upper spine or letting the head hang. There's a nice straight line from the crown of the head to your hips. So lift the upper spine. Now in this position, most of your weight is through the knee, the stabilizing knee. So both glutes are working, one to stabilize and one to lift the leg. Leading with your heel as you lift that leg, squeezing your glute. It's an exhale to lift and inhale to lower. Good. Keep the hips square. So when the knee comes back, it should be just hovering above the ground. All right, going into donkey kick pulses. So keep that leg high, squeezing your glute. And then we're just going to do a few pulses, not many. So you're working the hamstring, squeezing on the ball and release. Exhale to squeeze, inhale to release. Nice work. All right, straight into the other side. So place that ball behind the other knee. Draw the knee into the center line. Squeeze on the ball, squeeze the glute. Exhale to lift the leg. Inhale to lower it back down. That's it. So remember your hands are directly under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Lift the spine so there's no sagging between the shoulder blades. Draw your upper back up to meet your shoulder blades. Make sure your lower back's not sagging. Keep the T-zone tight, ribs to hips, especially as you lift the leg. You don't want to arch your back. You want to keep the abs working hard. Remember to keep the weight mostly through that back stabilizing knee and off the hands. Excellent work. Keep it going. Feel those glutes burn. You're doing amazing. Next one, I want you to hold up and we're going into your pulses. Only for a few. Keep your tummy tight, ribs to hips. Nice work. Okay, next we're doing some wall squats using the Pilates ball. Probably another one of my favorite exercises. So placing the ball behind your back on the wall, then your feet are hip distance apart, out in front of you a little bit. Have your T-zone tight and you're going to squat down, bending your knees, leaning a little bit onto the ball and sending your butt backwards, trying to keep the knees over the ankles and knees in line with the middle toe. Squeeze your glutes to come back up. So it's inhale to squat down, bending the knees, sticking your bottom back, and then exhale, squeeze your buttocks and stand back up. Excellent. I love having the ball to support your back because it does take the pressure off your lower back. and really focuses on making the legs do the work. Make sure your ribs are to hips and your T-zone's tight so you're not arching through your lower back. Keep your shoulders back and down, chin tucked in. Excellent. You're doing amazing. Keep it going. So inhale to squat down. Maybe have a little pat of the dog. And exhale, squeeze your glutes and drive back up. Excellent. We're going to finish these with a little bit of a hold. So the next time you come down, I want you to hold, keep your T-zone tight, push through the heels, squeeze your glutes. That's it. 3, 2, 1. Squeeze your glutes, push through the heels, and come back up to standing. Nice work. Okay, now we're going to do another squat, but with the ball in between the inner thighs, just above the knees. So the same thing as before, we're just going to bend the knees, squat the bottom backwards, squeeze your glutes, and drive your body up to stand up tall. Good. Use your arms, squeeze your shoulders back and down as you're coming up. So inhale to squat down, exhale to come back up. Just make sure your knees are still in line with your middle toes. So maybe your feet need to come a little bit closer just to keep the knees in line with the middle toes while squeezing on the ball slightly. Nice work. The next one, come down and we're going to hold. So make sure your tummy's tight, shoulders are back and down, chin is tucked in. Squeeze your glutes, push the heels. Nice work. 3, 2, and 1. Well done. You did amazing today. That is your workout done. We are just going to finish off with a few stretches. Well deserved, I may say. Okay, we're first going into a kneeling hip flexor stretch. So one foot forward on the ground, the other knee underneath you. Tuck your tailbone under and then think ribs to hips, T-zone tight. And then squeeze your glute and then you can lunge slightly forward, stretching out the front of the leg. All right, stretching out the other hip flexor. Just make sure when you're stretching your hip flexor, you need to tuck your tailbone under so you're not arching through your lower back and avoiding the stretch. Nice work. Well-deserved stretch. How are you feeling? Are you proud of yourself? I'm proud of you. Last stretch today, we're doing a standing quad stretch. So tummy tight, bending that leg, grabbing the back of the foot, knees together, tuck your tailbone, ribs to hips, shoulders back and down. You can use the wall for balance. Just try to keep those knees squeezing together to stretch out the front of the thigh, the quad. Okay, other side, stretching the other quad. I hope you enjoyed today's workout as much as I did. I hope you're feeling great and empowered and ready to take on the most amazing rest of your day. See you next time, and please leave a comment letting me know how you went with today's Pilates workout. All right, see you next time.